step into the shadows of history and uncover the chilling realities of slavery in ancient civilizations. Long before modern times, the echoes of oppression resonated through the ages. Enslaved individuals, regardless of gender or origin, faced harrowing challenges. What dark truths lie buried in the annals of ancient bondage? Let's embark on this haunting journey, starting with the Mesopotamian slavery. In the ancient lands of Mesopotamia, slavery was not just a concept, it was a harsh reality that shaped the lives of many. The Code of Hammurabi, dating back to around 1754 BCE, not only regulated daily life, but also codified the brutal treatment of slaves. Imagine being considered mere property, bought and sold like goods, with little to no say in your own destiny. Debt slavery was a common fate for those who fell on hard times. Imagine owing a debt and then finding yourself in chains, forced to work tirelessly to repay what might have been an unfair or impossible sum. The treatment of slaves was often harsh, with punishments ranging from physical abuse to execution for minor offenses. Despite the harsh conditions, some slaves managed to gain their freedom through various means, such as buying their freedom or being freed by their owners. However, these instances were rare compared to the vast number of individuals trapped in lifelong servitude. The legacy of Mesopotamian slavery is a chilling reminder of the power dynamics and inequalities that plagued ancient societies, leaving a haunting imprint on history that echoes through the ages. Number 2. Ancient Egyptian slavery. The grandeur of ancient Egypt often overshadows the dark reality of slavery that existed within its borders. Slaves, often acquired through conquest or as punishment for crimes, were the backbone of Egypt's monumental construction projects. Imagine toiling under the scorching sun, hauling massive stones to build the pyramids or temples, all while being treated as disposable labor. Slavery in Egypt was not limited to physical labor. Many slaves also served in domestic roles, catering to the needs of their owners and maintaining their luxurious lifestyles. However, behind the facade of opulence lay a system built on exploitation and dehumanization. While some slaves had limited legal protections and could even own property, their status as property themselves overshadowed any semblance of freedom. The stories of ancient Egyptian slavery serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the hidden costs behind monumental achievements. Number 3. Greek slavery. The glory of ancient Greece was built on the backs of countless slaves who labored tirelessly to sustain the city-state's prosperity. Captives from wars and conquests often found themselves thrust into a life of servitude, working in fields, households, and workshops. Even in the birthplace of democracy, the voices of slaves were silenced. Imagine being part of a society that extolled the virtues of freedom and equality while denying those very rights to a significant portion of its population. The hypocrisy of Greek society's treatment of slaves is a chilling reminder of the dark underbelly of classical civilization. Slave markets thrived in cities like Athens, where human beings were auctioned off like commodities. The inherent cruelty of treating fellow humans as property for sale is a stark contrast to the ideals of philosophy and intellect that Greece is renowned for. The legacy of Greek slavery serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that even the most enlightened civilizations can harbor deep-rooted injustices and inequalities. Number 4. Roman slavery. The Roman Empire, known for its grandeur and conquests, was also a vast empire built on the backs of slaves. From household servants to laborers in mines and fields, slaves were the lifeblood of Roman society. Imagine being a gladiator, forced to fight for entertainment in blood-soaked arenas, all for the amusement of the masses. The spectacle of gladiatorial combat, while thrilling for spectators, was a brutal reminder of the expendability of slaves in Roman society. Despite the sheer scale of slavery in Rome, there were instances of resistance and rebellion. The famous Spartacus uprising, led by a former gladiator, stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to defy their oppressors. The legacy of Roman slavery is a haunting one, reminding us of the human cost behind the empire's grandeur and the resilience of those who fought for freedom in the face of overwhelming odds. Number 5. Slavery in ancient China. In ancient China, slavery was deeply intertwined with social hierarchies and power dynamics. Slaves were often acquired through conquests or as punishment for crimes, becoming laborers in fields, households, and even governmental positions. The legal framework in ancient China regulated the status of slaves, treating them as property of their owners with limited rights and freedoms. Imagine living in a society where your fate was determined by birth or circumstance, with little hope of upward mobility or escape from servitude. Despite the harsh conditions, some slaves managed to gain their freedom through acts of bravery or by earning enough to buy their way out of bondage. However, these stories of freedom were rare compared to the vast number of individuals trapped in lifelong servitude. The legacy of slavery in ancient China serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the fragility of freedom in societies built on unequal power dynamics and social stratification. Number 6. Slavery in India. In ancient India, slavery was often intertwined with the rigid caste system, where lower castes were subjected to servitude and exploitation. Slaves performed various roles, from agricultural labor to domestic service, under the watchful eye of their owners. Indentured servitude was also prevalent, where individuals worked to repay debts or fulfill obligations, often leading to prolonged periods of servitude. Imagine being bound by debt, forced to work endlessly, with little hope of ever regaining your freedom. The treatment of slaves varied widely, with some facing brutal conditions while others had relatively better treatment. However, the underlying reality of being considered property and denied basic human rights remained constant. Over time, efforts were made to abolish or mitigate the harshness of slavery in India, reflecting a gradual shift towards recognizing the inherent dignity and rights of every individual. Number 7. Slavery in pre-Columbian Americas. Before European colonization, slavery existed among indigenous societies in the Americas. Captives from wars or raids often became slaves, performing labor-intensive tasks in agriculture, construction, and as servants. The Aztec and Inca empires practiced slavery, with slaves playing crucial roles in sustaining the empire's economies and infrastructure. Imagine being part of a society where your value was determined by your labor and servitude, with little hope of freedom or autonomy. The treatment of slaves in the pre-Columbian Americas varied, with some facing brutal conditions, including sacrifices in religious ceremonies, while others had relatively better treatment. However, the underlying dehumanization inherent in slavery remained a constant reality. The arrival of European colonizers introduced chattel slavery on a massive scale, leading to significant upheaval and exploitation of indigenous populations. The legacy of slavery in the pre-Columbian Americas serves as a stark reminder of the enduring impact of colonization and exploitation on indigenous communities. Number 8. African slavery. Slavery existed within various African societies long before the transatlantic slave trade, with captives from wars or criminal activities often becoming slaves. Arab traders engaged in the slave trade across Africa, transporting slaves to the Middle East and beyond for labor and domestic service. The transatlantic slave trade, fueled by European powers, forcibly transported millions of Africans to the Americas as chattel slaves. Imagine being torn from your homeland, subjected to the horrors of the Middle Passage, and forced into a life of brutal servitude thousands of miles away. Abolitionist movements in Africa and abroad eventually led to the end of legal slavery, but the legacy of slavery continues to impact societies today. Number 9. Slavery in ancient Persia. Ancient Persia, known for its vast empire and cultural achievements, also had a dark side marked by slavery. Conquest slavery was common, with captives from conquered territories becoming slaves who served in various capacities, from skilled artisans to laborers. Royal slaves held unique positions of trust and authority, often serving in royal households or fulfilling specialized roles. Eunuchs, in particular, played significant roles in palace administration and security. While some slaves in Persia had relatively privileged positions, the majority endured harsh treatment and limited freedoms. The legal framework surrounding slavery provided some protections, but was often subject to interpretation and abuse by owners. The cultural influence of Persian slavery extended beyond its borders, shaping trade routes and social structures in the ancient world. The legacy of slavery in ancient Persia serves as a reminder of the complexities and injustices inherent in hierarchical societies. Number 10. Slavery in the Hellenistic world. The Hellenistic world, following the conquests of Alexander the Great, saw the spread of Greek practices, including slavery, across vast territories. Slaves played essential roles in the economy, working in agriculture, manufacturing, and domestic service. Despite the intellectual and cultural achievements of the Hellenistic era, slavery remained a pervasive institution. The legal status of slaves varied, with some having limited rights while others faced harsh conditions and exploitation. Slave revolts and resistance movements were not uncommon, highlighting the tensions and inequalities inherent in the system. The legacy of slavery in the Hellenistic world underscores the complexities of power dynamics and the challenges of achieving true freedom and equality. Number 11. Slavery in the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire inherited many aspects of Roman slavery, with slaves serving in households, workshops, and governmental roles. Byzantine laws regulated slavery but were often subject to abuse and exploitation. Slavery played a significant role in the Byzantine economy and trade networks. The decline of slavery within the empire was influenced by social, economic, and religious factors over time. Despite efforts to regulate and mitigate the harshness of slavery, its legacy persisted for centuries. The experiences of slaves in the Byzantine Empire reflect the complexities of power structures and the enduring struggle for human dignity. Number 12. Slavery in ancient Mesoamerica. In ancient Mesoamerica, slavery was intertwined with social and religious practices. Captives from wars or raids often became slaves who performed labor and sometimes had religious roles in ceremonies. The treatment of slaves varied, with some facing sacrifices in religious rituals, while others worked in agricultural or domestic roles. The arrival of Spanish conquistadors introduced European-style chattel slavery, leading to significant upheaval and exploitation. The legacy of slavery in ancient Mesoamerica serves as a reminder of the cultural complexities and the impact of colonization on indigenous populations. The resilience of indigenous communities in the face of exploitation and oppression is a testament to the human spirit. Number 13. Slavery in ancient Greece. Ancient Greece, known for its contributions to philosophy, art, and democracy, also had a darker side marked by slavery. Slaves, often acquired through conquests or trade, performed diverse roles in households, fields, and workshops. The legal framework surrounding slavery provided limited protections, with slaves considered property and lacking fundamental rights. Despite the ideals of freedom and democracy, slavery was a pervasive institution in Greek society. The legacy of Greek slavery raises questions about the contradictions between ideals and realities in ancient civilizations. The voices of slaves, silenced in history, remind us of the hidden costs behind cultural achievements. Number 14. Slavery in ancient Rome. The Roman Empire, renowned for its engineering marvels and legal systems, relied heavily on slavery. Slaves performed crucial roles in households, agriculture, mining, and public works projects. The treatment of slaves varied widely, with some facing brutal conditions and others having relatively better treatment depending on their roles. Slave revolts, such as the Spartacus Rebellion, highlighted the inherent injustices of slavery. The legacy of Roman slavery influenced legal systems and social structures across Europe, leaving a lasting impact on human history. The resilience of slaves who dared to resist serves as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those oppressed. Number 15. Legacy and impact. The legacy of slavery in ancient civilizations is a haunting reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty and exploitation. The enduring impact of slavery on societies and individuals underscores the ongoing struggle for justice and equality. Education and advocacy are essential in confronting the legacies of slavery and addressing contemporary issues related to exploitation and discrimination. The resilience of those who fought against slavery serves as inspiration for ongoing efforts to create a more just and equitable world. If you learned something from this video, please subscribe to our channel. And as always, thanks for watching.